So my next tip is to use music liberally, and this is something that I still rely on heavily today, even though I wouldn't consider myself very depressed anymore. I have depressive periods, but I wouldn't consider myself in a period of depression, but I still require and rely on music constantly to get me through the day. So for me, what this looks like is as soon as I wake up, I know I don't want to get out of bed. I know I don't want to brush my teeth. I know I don't want to make myself breakfast. So I put on my headphones and I put on a podcast or an audiobook or music, and somehow I'm able to get through the day and do the things that I have to do. And I find that there's no way for me to do the things that I dread without having music playing. So without exaggerating at all, I literally have my earbuds in from the moment I wake up until the moment I go to sleep, because I cannot get things done unless I have music. Somehow having music on or listening to a podcast really helps motivate me and really allows me to kind of tune out from how low energy and how bad I'm feeling, and to just kind of go on autopilot and get through the tasks that I need to do that day. So I'm able to break down my tasks into, this will only take one song, or this will only take, cooking dinner will last as long as listening to this podcast. So I found that extremely helpful. Even now, I find it so invaluable. Speaking of music, what also helps me is listening to sleep stories, because at night I find that's when I get the most depressed, is right before I'm about to go to sleep, when I'm laying in bed and trying to fall asleep. That's when I start having really depressive thoughts about the world and bad things that happen to humanity, and I start to ruminate on my past and ruminate on my mental illness and feeling just hopeless and feeling so despairingly about the world. And that almost always happens to be at night as I'm trying to go to bed. So what I've been doing to combat this is listening to sleep stories. So I actually have my headphones in 24/7 because I don't know, it helps me so much. So I listen to these sleep stories. There's this guy called Snooze with Sam, and he's the Scottish guy, and he tells sleep stories. So they're very comforting, slow, soothing stories to listen to. They usually have like ambient noises of like waves or birds or just gentle music in the background. And I find that listening to that helps me fall asleep so much better, because I'm not ruminating in my own thoughts. I'm listening to someone else tell me a story to help me fall asleep. And I've been using this for months now, and honestly it's so helpful because they're sometimes like 1 to 3 hours long, so you're guaranteed to fall asleep as you're listening to it. And that has been so helpful for me in getting better sleep and to be able to alleviate those depressive symptoms at night. Another kind of strange tip or strategy that I stumbled upon while I was very depressed is using sports to get through your depressed episode. So while I was really depressed, I started watching basketball, and for me, this gave me something to live for when I was feeling so depressed and so lost and just absolutely hopeless. So for me, following a sport was so much more beneficial than trying to keep up with a TV show or watching TV or watching movies. For some reason, because you are loyal to a team, you feel like you have to keep watching all their games to show your support, and that kind of gives you some sort of scaffolding to get through this long period of depression, because you know, on Tuesday there is a game and I have to watch that, and then there's another game on Friday, so I have that to look forward to, and then they're going to be on again on Sunday. It just kind of gave me a reason to want to be alive, because I wanted to watch this game and support my team and see what would happen. And I think, you know, you could do that also with a TV show, but with TV, it's very easy to binge things. I think very few shows come out on a weekly basis. It's usually all the episodes are out in a short period of time and you can watch them all at once or whenever you want. But with sports, they're only on at a certain time during the week. So you kind of have to tune in at 7 p.m. on a Tuesday to watch the game. And that really creates a kind of commitment and like I said, a scaffolding where you want to watch the next game and you know you need to make it till this day to watch the next game. And for me, that was surprisingly very helpful during a period of time when I felt super untethered and I just didn't know where I was going. It gave me something to look forward to consistently. It gave me something that I was invested in so that I would want to be alive to see the outcome. And it also gave me an opportunity to socialize with other people who were watching the same sports game as me. And it just gave me something to be joyful about. I was never into sports before. I had never watched any type of sports before except maybe the Olympics. But I found that since I started watching basketball, I have been so much happier in my life just because of how much it has helped my depression to have a sports team that I keep up with and whose games I enjoy watching, and it just keeps me going. When you feel like you're in a depression, it's hard to move forward, but having something to look forward to every week, sometimes multiple times a week, can really help you get through those long days. And I would highly recommend that you try it. If there's a sport that you're even somewhat interested in, try to just become a fan of your local team and see if it helps you. So another tip that I have that I'm sure you've probably heard before if you're on the internet anywhere, but that is to give yourself treats. And I'm talking like daily treats if you need it. For me, having a treat to look forward to was so helpful in getting me through every day in that dreadful, depressive episode. And just making it through one day can be incredibly challenging, and having a treat to look forward to is so rewarding and so motivating. So for me, I would have a really hard time going to school. Going to my classes was so dreadful. I did not want to leave the house. I did not want to sit in a class for 2 hours. So I wouldn't go to class. I would go downtown and go to get a matcha latte. And the matcha, the cafe that I liked just happened to be in the same building where my class was held. So I would think, okay, I'm already here. I might as well just go sit through my class while I'm sipping on my drink. And that's what I did for like 3 years. And that was the only way that I went to class, was because I wanted to buy a matcha latte. And that was my treat. I needed it. Otherwise, I would not show up for school. And I think that if you need a treat to get you through something, allow yourself to have that, because life is very rough, especially with depression. And if you need to reward yourself, if you need to motivate yourself, then a little treat, if you are able to afford that, or if you're able to attain that, I would definitely encourage you to reward yourself with it. Even if you feel like you're unworthy or you didn't do anything to deserve it, you should just allow yourself to have it, because that's why it's a treat. So those were kind of my unique tips that helped me get through my depressive episodes. A lot of them I still use to this day, and I find very beneficial regardless of whether I'm feeling depressed or not. And I hope this video helped you, and maybe some of these tips resonate with you and you might want to try them out for yourself. I just want to reiterate though that these are just internet tips that have helped me and might be helpful to someone else, but I think it's important to acknowledge that these kind of tips or strategies can't take the place of real mental health care, and that we should all be advocating for mental health care that is free, that is accessible, and so that everyone can get the care that they need. I hope that this video was interesting to you, and if any of the tips sound useful, or if you've tried any of these before, please let me know. I love hearing from you guys in the comments. But thank you for watching, and bye.